Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the after show for episode 9 of chapter 2 of Echoes of the Undying. This one was called The Anatomy of Control. I know I'm on the edge of my seat, and I know most of what's supposed to happen next, and I still want to see how it turns out. We're gonna go around and do some stars and wishes, maybe throw some a little bit of theory crafting around before we all remember that we're old and have to go to bed. Um, I gotta start with Tequila. Uh, the granted the central focus of like this half of the second season, and that's okay. Um, don't worry, I have something for each of the rest of you for next week uh,
Ready.
to keep the story going. But Ray, let's talk stars and wishes. What have you got?
Well, it's star to you for just how you're incorporating the story, the encounters. Again, you started it at Verkbar where it's like, okay, you have to roll for initiative, but they're two very different encounters calling for different skill sets. Star to Patrick really made his character take advantage of his skill set. Um, wishes that ECAT's dice would get their act together.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a weird feast or famine evening.
One in
Yeah.
eight
And
thousand.
it's and it seems like just because my perception, like I wish that I could take better advantage of the fact that this is my fucking story arc, Taquito's friggin' story arc, and could be more in control, like not just reacting and trying to figure, well, what has he got? What has he got? Because he's been detached from it. But you provided, like, I think I was able to be, actively involved and helpful, especially with the console and Serafina. That was cool. But it sort of feels like being detached from your own arc when there's not that the anatomy of control,
Right?
right?
Which I think, I mean, honestly, I think that kind of makes sense for Tequila because he's been, this has been kind of this reality in the back of his mind that hasn't really influenced him
Oh,
much.
yeah, for the
So,
story. Like,
yeah,
no, absolutely.
yeah,
Because, like, here it is. You're in it. You are literally in your heritage, and part of you feels like a fish out of water
yeah.
because you are not of that people. You are, so, right. Story-wise, it's great. Character-wise, it's more challenging.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's go over to Matt next.
Yes. Well, I mean, definitely stars to both Trevor and Ray for you know, Ray being Taquito being the star of the show here. And yeah, Trevor, that was yes, it's Taquito's story, but you gave all of us something to do and little moments to shine in, and that was brilliant.
My gosh, dude.
Also, want to give a star to the dice for being hilarious tonight. Because wow. Yeah, no, this was fun. Sorry, I was a little distracted with dog sitting, but wishes. Yeah, let's see what next week brings.
Okay. Let's go to Patrick next.
All right. So star to ECAT, uh, because Zahar's ability to carry on through such obvious instances of her god utterly betraying her, not just getting more distant, but losing her grip on any ability to help her, I thought was quite special in the process. And also for Takedo being able to look at each encounter properly through his character's vision as an engineer and artificer, which it's not an easy thing to play in any situation. But I was very happy to see that, like, in each thing he was thinking, wait a minute, it's a machine, I can break it. It's like, yes,
Yep.
yes, indeed. Engineering has taught us it's much easier to break a machine than it is to make it work. So I like that very much. For wishes, I wish I could rewrite the randomizer to something slightly less fair, but in our favor, because damn, sometimes it just does not agree with us. Uh, but once again, it very much feast or famine does, which
Yeah.
is exactly fair and even. That's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to next time. I have a crazy theory of what we should do, and it'll probably get up in all of our deaths, but I like the idea anyway. So we
Okay.
can discuss that.
Julie.
This was a lot. And frankly, the dice scared me tonight. So I was actually quite happy to like, I'm just going to like figure out ways to support the other characters without rolling stuff because I did not want to make the situation worse.
Yep.
That said, but in all seriousness, I actually was happy to be able to help primarily Tick and Zell do their thing. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, looking forward to seeing how this all plays out.
All right. ECAT.
Uh, Stars goes to everybody else for just really enjoying the fact that my dice really hate me today. Just I don't know what it is with the randomizer hating me, but whatever. Wishes. I'm just looking forward to what's coming next, so I don't really have anything at the moment.
Okay. So for me, star to Patrick for, as was said, putting the philosophy degree to work. Yeah, I'm for things, for role playing based things like that. I am absolutely happy to give assets for like the player leaning into it. Love it. I love it. Because you can't script things like that. You can't, and just say, oh, I make a roll, I pass. It does whatever it does. It gets boring after a while. But a star to pretty much everyone for kind of understanding when it, as as you said, when it was more valuable to step back and let someone, and just give someone else some support. And it's one of the things that I like about the system is that anyone can do that. Obviously some better than others, but that's, and also I think a star to everyone for, I did kind of, map out parts of each encounter that each of you could focus on. And I'd like to thank you for playing along with those little sets of rails. It worked well. Wishes. I don't know. I want to see how this turns out, but I almost don't want to make this the end of the season because we could probably milk so much more out of this sequence of scenes that we're in right now. That being said, we've got I know what's making the Thum, and it's not it. The five of you are gonna love it. Hopefully, the five of you are not. But no, this was a lot of fun. Oh, and one more star to Ray for the backstory.
Oh,
Giving me this to play with. uh, was great, and thank you. Um, and
My
I'm
fever dream of creative writing
yeah.
that I just barfed out.
You know, I am glad that it seems like I've done right by it.
Yeah, yes. Oh my
So thank you.
God. Holy cow.
So, what do we think's going to happen next week?
We got a big bad. We're gonna have to kill the big bad.
We gotta kill
All
most
Um,
hell is gonna break loose. That's
of them.
We
We
are
gotta
going to be
knock Grandma
fighting.
down a few pegs.
so this is where you have borrowed from somebody else's story arc, and you're gonna throw it like that's it's like the baddies are kind of turning on each other,
Mhm.
and in one small little percentage chance, Quendyl is actually right because it's threatening not the people, but it's threatening her.
Yeah.
And so we're not ready for this because we're always like, oh, we're in a little gnome world and there, and then it's probably not Ishun, but I'm looking at Zell, I'm looking at Serafina and wondering, who did you piss off that has actually worked its way over here that we're gonna have to like turn and dare I say, maybe, just possibly, without 100% going along with it, like join a force with Quendyl to defeat this and then come back, but without me saying, I'm not going in the chair. No, no,
Okay.
no,
That's.
no, no going in the chair. No chair for me.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
absolutely fighting on
He's
two fronts this
definitely
week.
Yep.
just saying.
giving
You could.
Marvel villain
Yeah. You could
like
totally be the savior of the entire rest of the history of the gnome race. Just saying.
you know she's doing the Killmonger thing
Oh
where
yeah.
like the original intent is morally just. The methods, on the other hand,
Yeah, so my plan is I'm going to grab probably Howard because he's tough, and chuck him into the chair and see what it does to the entirety of gnome history.
you want to go the Captain Kirk divide by zero, like out
Again,
logic the
And
machine
and
thing.
it worked.
while they're facing their ultimate annihilation, let's put somebody who's dealt with that already. Oh, you want to know what
Yes.
it's like being the last of your kind? Well, let me tell you.
I see that Nimbus has decided that he needs to, partake.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Floofy Pants.
No.
Yes.
So
Mr. Floofy Butt.
I think we're going to get going, but I want to leave both the five of you and anyone who actually might watch this. I want to leave you with this thought. Quendyl is doing what she's doing because she believes that it will save the gnome race, right? And Quendyl is working with Ishun. And Ishun is turning people into undead. So what's the connection? Why is the why? And with that, I think we're going to
Ball
wrap
with
it
the
up.
ball.
All right. So, again, if you like this, tell a friend. That's really all. This is never going to be algorithmized. This is never going to, just tell a friend and come and have fun with us because we're having, I think, just loads of fun doing this. But in the meantime, once again, for Matt, Julie, Ray, Patrick, and ECAT, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Good night, everyone.